Hello, everyone. Welcome to Slow Fashion Rebel. My name is Emily, and this is my lovely friend.
Sophie, hello.
Hi, Sophie. We are a channel about crafting and mostly knitting and now cross stitch, but also sewing,
Yeah,
a handmade wardrobe. And I'm in Brooklyn, New York, and Sophie
I'm
is.
in Cheltenham in the UK.
And we met last year while Sophie lived in New York and she recently moved. So we're using this to keep in touch, but also to share, a community conversation about crafting with our community. So welcome and enjoy.
Yeah, welcome. I'm just going to grab Lucas really
Oh,
quickly.
yay. Oh, hi, Lucas. Oh.
He always looks so serious and stern.
Yeah, but when he waves his little paw like that, it's the cutest thing ever.
Give everyone a little high five.
Hi. I miss you, Lucas.
So, Emmy, tell me what's been going on. I feel like you're extra jolly today, and I need to know the deeds.
So all that has changed is that I have been trying to not look at my phone all the time. And I've been getting so much more done. And so, like, I feel really happy about myself. That's kind of it. So you know how like on YouTube like things just get suggested to you randomly and sometimes you click on them and
Yeah, we've
it
all
was
been
called How I Tricked My Brain to like into like doing how to like doing hard things. And so he was talking, it was one of those like animated things where it's like, the whiteboard scribbly animation.
there.
And so he was talking about like how to do a what's called a dopamine detox, which I had never heard of. And it's basically the idea that we as human beings are flooded with an unnatural amount of dopamine on a daily basis because of technology, basically. But so things that are like high dopamine activities include like checking your phone for text messages, like in general, like basically anything to do with the phone, like the internet, junk food, yeah, anything else that you feel like you personally have sort of an addiction to, like as a habit. So I that really resonated with me because I have ADHD, if you don't know. Uh, I mean, Sophie knows, but if you, the audience member, don't know, and that's directly related to dopamine. I have had a really big issue with motivation and like feeling good about how I'm using my time and how difficult it is for me to like get myself to sit down and like do things that are helpful for long-term goals. And so after I saw that, I was sewing, and after I was like, because I was sewing by myself, like I was looking for some entertainment to do during that time. And then I saw that and I was like, wait, I don't need to like have something on right now. Like I can just concentrate on what I'm doing. So I turned the internet off. Well, not the whole internet. I just closed my browser window.
Today.
I went over and I unplugged the router. No, nobody can use the internet. So I, yeah, did that and then like just didn't look at my phone for the rest of the day. And like it was so much easier to get stuff done that I was supposed to do. And so, yeah, I feel amazing. So,
That's so good. And I think it's so important. Like when you find the thing that works for you, and I guess it'll be different for everyone, it
yeah,
feels so good. And I love the energy you've got today. So I think keep
thank
on doing it.
you.
Productive
Yeah.
life energy.
How are you? I love your turtleneck. That color is
Thanks.
really great.
Just from Marks and Sparks, Marks and Spencer, which is a I guess a department store. What is it? A department store? I suppose so. They sell clothes and they sell food. And they do sell homeware in some of their shops, but it's not, I mean, they're mostly known for their food. M&S food, well, I guess it's more convenience food. So if you're feeling like a bit naughty and you want to buy something to bung in the oven that you don't have to necessarily cook, then M&S do some good stuff.
Awesome.
Like treat food and Percy Pigs, which are great sweets. I've been good. I've been a bit tired today, but only because I was up all night thinking about crafting and my latest craft thing, which is I've been keep making quilted cushion covers. This is my new thing. And I was thinking about it last night, and I'll show you what I was thinking about because I had to start doing it today. I haven't had that for a while, like lying in bed thinking about a project going, well, if I do this,
yeah,
itching to get started, but going, I can't go down in the middle of the night and turn on the sewing machine because that will wake everyone else up. Like maybe at home, I would have done it, but I was like, no, I can't do that here.
Yeah.
Wait till the morning, Sophie.
Right.
And all these little ideas kept swirling around in my brain. Done a bit of knitting. It's been great. Went to the house today. The kitchen floor is done, and they've started putting the carcasses in for the cupboards and stuff. So it's getting there. It's been really good. It's exciting. So I just can't wait. Can't wait. Beginning of December to see it all finished and done and sorted. I was also this morning listening to a really interesting podcast about cults. And I thought, you know who would like this? My friend Emily.
Yeah.
So I'll share that with everyone because if people don't know, Emily and I like listening to true crime podcasts and culty podcasts. So if you have any recommendations, please let us know.
Cults are so fascinating.
So fascinating. Let me find, where's my recently? I feel like since they updated the iPhone, I can't find half as well.
No, it's so annoying when they change the podcast interface. Like,
where do you see? Okay. So it's this one by Parcast Network, and it's quite interesting because though they're not psychologists, they tell you a bit more about the psychology behind the cult leaders and what could have potentially led up to them. And in this, they specifically say they only talk about destructive cults. They don't talk about religious movements. They're just specifically talking about kind of negative cult leaders. So they're really specific they're not necessarily bashing cults. They're just saying, here is where it's gone horribly wrong and it was led by a psychopath kind of thing. Yeah. So this is what the page looks like. Networks. So I started back at the beginning with Charles Manson. So that was some happy sewing podcasting alien. Yeah, it's really interesting. They're sort of like 40 to 50 minutes each, and I've been enjoying them because I've been waiting for My Favorite Murders new episode, and it wasn't out. It is out now, but it wasn't out earlier. So I was like, what can I listen to? So I guess it's the same thing in that I love listening to podcasts when I craft. And again, why do I need to listen to a podcast? I could just listen in silence and actually concentrate.
Well, I mean, yes, but I feel like it's only if you are feeling like you have an issue with motivation. And I mean, I'm not unmotivated to do crafts, but I'm like way overly motivated to do crafts and not motivated enough to like figure out like my career in the long term and that kind of thing. So
yeah, well, all I've done is crafting. I haven't done anything else. Otherwise, otherwisely, that's not a word, but constructive with my time. Hey ho, what are we gonna do?
Well, so I just started doing this over the weekend, and it was Saturday. So Saturday, obviously the weekend is Saturday and Sunday, but I And all I did was do sewing, like, which is the thing that I actually do have a hard time getting motivated to do. But it's not like I've really tested out this theory on like the weekdays, you know, because it was also on the weekend, it's easier to put your phone away. But during the week, it's like people really expect you to be available to respond to them and stuff. So anyway, I'm again not saying I'm better than anybody. I just
Well, of course we are. I mean, do you not see my shiny halo over here?
yeah.
Perfection. Is that your advent calendar behind you? I've just seen.
Oh yeah. These are the ones from Jacqueline, but because I haven't yours came in the mail, but I haven't been over to her house.
I'm so glad they arrived. I was getting concerned, thinking, I wonder if they've made it across the pond yet. And then I tried to look it up and realized I didn't have any tracking information for the parcel. And I was like, well, that's really frustrating. Or will it ever arrive? Who knows? Luckily, and then you text me literally the next day and said it's here. So it's really meant to be. I was thinking about it for a reason, obviously. It's really good. I need to think about how to put mine up.
Thank you. Yeah, it adds so much holiday cheer to my space.
Yeah, it's really cute. Should I show you what I've been making?
Yes, please.
Well, Lucas is insisting on being in the frame. So
I love it because every time he's not in the frame, like I kind of forget that he's there, and then his head pops up, and I'm like, oh.
He doesn't press anything on the keyboard and kind of exit me.
Yeah.
So I have been, just move him out of the way slightly, on a quilting mission over the past week. I have not stopped till I've dropped, literally.
Mm-hmm.
I find I'm so much more tired, I guess because I'm thinking about it and learning a new skill. So people are probably going, why quilting? That's a bit random, Sophie. Well, it's because my mother-in-law is an amazing quilter. She makes fantastic quilts. She's binding 3 at the moment and they're all incredible. So you should check her out on Instagram, ParishLynn33. I'll link her below because she is the queen of piecing and all of her joins are very precise. So don't look at mine too closely. And last Christmas, I said this last week, I'd asked her to make this reindeer block. She didn't get around to it because they lived abroad, so they're only back in the UK for a short amount of time. So this year, while we're staying with them for a bit, she said, Sophie, why don't you have a go at making them? And so I did. So this is cushion number 1.
Cute.
So I will tell you, Emily, that initially I was very reluctant and had wondered what I'd sign myself up for because the antlers are all separate sections. And I was like, why am I sewing together 1 inch, 1.5 inch things to then cut them up again into triangle squares? What had I signed up for? But I persevered. I made 16 reindeers because, again, maths, or I guess quilting maths wasn't my strong point. I was just randomly cutting up bits and accidentally cut out 16 reindeers, or 17 to be precise. So this is quilt number 1. I've just done a simple kind of random lines across it. It's got a little flap back. I don't know what the technical term is.
It's like an envelope.
Yes, that is the exact word. 17 by 17 inches. But it didn't stop there. Oh no. So we have a table runner top. I haven't added I haven't added batting or quilt stuff to this yet. We've got a table runner to go, so I need to finish that off today. These plaid fabrics were from Hobbycraft. This is another cushion cover. This one's ready for binding. I'm really in love with this fabric, which is a free spirit fabric, and I think I've got the selvage downstairs. I'll add it in the description. So I've used this, you'll notice, as much as possible because I'm obsessed. This one's going to have binding on it instead of being turned inside out, because why not? Learn how to do that while I'm here. And then this is the final one. I've done a slightly different quilt pattern on this. I don't know if you can see the arrows all good.
Yeah, it looks great.
And then I was like, well, I probably should finish these projects today. But then this little thing was buzzing around in my brain because I watched Tula Pink's IGTV yesterday, and she's a fabric designer who I've recently been made aware of. I have seen her stuff before, but I've never really gone on her Instagram. And she's actually quite funny. So I got caught in an Instagram loop of watching all her IGTVs. And she'd made these 2 mini quilts that say handmade in 3D lettering. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I was like, oh, wouldn't 3D lettering, she just shown basically how she'd drawn it out in her sketchbook. So it's not a specific pattern or anything. But if you want to go see it, it's on her IGTV. Like, wouldn't that look cool saying Noel on a cushion? You can have Noel. So that's what I started this morning. This is my N.
Cool.
I don't know how well you can see it because the light might be shining through.
I love that.
So I sort of roughly drew it out. I don't have the drawing, and then just started cutting because, you know, been quilting a week. Why not just start making?
Wow. How did you figure out how big to cut the strips?
So on her video, she basically shows how she draws or designs her quilts on this sort of dotted paper, and she basically says, you know, each dot I then make into a measurement, or each kind of like little line, a small square. So so I basically did exactly the same thing and just drew it out like that and said, okay, I want my overall size to be this, which is about 17 inches. So let me split up how I'm cutting it. I just did the same thing, make every little square an inch, and then just added on a half for my seam allowance and using 1/4 inch. And then, so really, really bad drawing, which is why I haven't brought it with me. And then just sort of started here and just worked my way across in strips. So what do I need to make for this strip? What do I need for this? These ones are smaller pieced sections. And I probably could have done this with less piecing, but I've literally pieced each bit. But my seams aren't that bad. They're pretty close to the points. I'm new to quilting, so I don't know if there's an easy way of doing it. So there's my N. I started my O. I've got half of my O, so it will look.
Yay, so cool.
The E and the L will be underneath. And I'll probably do like a little thin white strip between the letters just to break them up. Yeah, that's what I've been obsessed with doing today. I've furiously cutting, like, what's next? So downstairs I've got the rest of the O to go, and it's always like 1.5 inch squares and strips.
That's awesome.
I'll probably add a little border, and then we'll be done. And then I'll have to decide how to quilt it. But this one I'm really excited about because I feel as though it's like a really like contemporary kind of.
Yeah.
Like I like this as well with the plaid. I think that looks really Christmassy, but no, just about fabric combinations. And all from Lynn's stash, so I have her to thank for all the fabric combos. And decide what to put on the back.
So what's it gonna be again? The Noel piece?
I'm gonna make it a cushion. So it's gonna
like a long one.
A square one still. So I thought it'd be cool if we just
like so the letters will be on top and two on bottom.
N-O and then E-L.
Cool.
So I thought that would make it, people are like, oh, what does that say? Oh, Sophie, you're so clever.
Cool.
Oh, I am, thank you. I just thought a bit cooler than having a rectangular one. And also I have square cushion pads coming, so I was working with the materials.
There you go.
I've got. But yeah, so that's what I make it
into a pattern.
Maybe I will. If people want it, I mean, let me know. I feel, new to it. I'm sure I might do it, and then people will be like, there's a better way of doing it. But it's not actually, if I can make it, I feel as though it's not that hard.
Yeah.
And it's not too fiddly. It's not as fiddly as the reindeer antlers.
Right.
I was really like, oh my God.
So you're like, because I remember you were like sort of meh about quilting before. Are you getting
Oh,
more
no, I'm into it. I'm
excited?
loving it.
Awesome.
I don't think I'd ever make a full size quilt because that seems like a lot. It's a lot of work and a lot of fabric and a lot of time, and I think they're really beautiful. But for me, I think maybe as big as I'll go as a table runner or a cushion cover, because I have seen some really cool patterns and I like the geometric kind of look you can achieve. So I do want to make some cushions for the house anyway. Maybe this could be start of something.
Yeah.
And I just need to get my I haven't, my free motion foot is in shipping. So once I get that back, I feel like a bit more creative with the quilting designs. Who knows? And I was also, so this is the other thing I was dreaming of last night was actual quilting patterns. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool to do initials, because apparently I'm really into lettering, on a cushion, and you could have those in the bottom corner, and then with your quilting, it's like you could do like little hearts looping around. I don't know. I was just clearly having quilting dreams.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
Liv is very gleeful. She's been trying to get me into quilting for a while. It's finally happened. So I haven't really, I've got my knitting here, but I haven't been doing as much as I would have liked. And I was panicking last night, doing lots of knitting, going, oh my God, I'm so behind. I need another jumper for Christmas.
Cute.
I'm nearly at the ribbing, because I tried it on at the beginning of the week and loved it, I have to say, if I do say so myself.
Love it.
It looks so nice. So yeah, I'm nearly, basically I have marks. When I tried it on, I put on a safety pin and then to determine how much longer I needed to make it. So I think I've got about 5 inches from this safety pin before I need to knit and do the ribbing. And it's got a, what do you call it when the front hem is shorter than the back one?
Well, is it split on the side? It's the
Yeah,
split hem.
split hem. I quite like that look as well. And then on the sleeves, I'm worried I'm going to run out of wool, but hopefully it'll be fine. I'm sure the sleeves won't take as much, so I'm thinking they will.
Sometimes what I do is like knit the body until it's the shortest it can possibly be acceptable. And then I knit the sleeves.
That's a good idea.
And then I finish with whatever else.
Yeah, because I'm feeling like the hem I could definitely lose probably 3 inches from the hem. Just thinking about like his, it's at 2 inches at the front and 4 inches at the back, so I could just halve that. So I could save some there. I don't know, I feel because I have 2, I've just started my third, I've got 2 full skeins and I've literally just started one. So we'll see. I might have to get more mohair as well.
And they're 50 grams each.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, you should do it. You should stop and do the sleeves.
Yeah. I feel like I worked out the yardage. Maybe I'm just, I don't know, something's happened along the way.
Yeah.
This is what happens in knitting.
Yeah.
Excitingly though, Sari Norland has just released her new jumper design, and I actually ordered wool for that the other day. So I had some basically my parents gave me some of my Christmas money early because I was like, I'm desperate for whatever it is. And I ordered from Black Elephant. Have you ever heard?
Yeah.
I've got so very excited. So I was like, I want to go for a UK dye. I've got loads of American, not loads, but I've had lots of American sort of yarn. Let's see what I can get in the UK. And I basically went onto the pattern testing page. I was like, how many skeins do I need? Perfect, just the right amount for the amount I was given. I did the...
So you're testing for Sari Norland?
No, I was so eager to get
one of the testers pages, I see.
which may or may not come back to bite me on the bottom. But I basically got the Delirium colorway. So I really liked the fact that on Black Elephant you can do dyed to order, which I thought was quite cool.
Yeah.
Basically, of all of her colors, she does dyed to order. So I don't think there's a minimum amount either. But I ordered 5 skeins. DK. This is the color.
Ooh, pretty.
So I'm hoping it'll work. I'm hoping it's not going to be too dark when it arrives, but if it is, we shall figure it out. Because let me quickly show the actual pattern if anyone hasn't seen it. Because that's the jumper.
Ooh, pretty.
Textured, with lots of tails.
That's really nice.
So hopefully it'll work. We shall find out.
Mm-hmm.
When I swatch. Maybe when I have to pause this jumper because I need to order more wool. And then my cross stitch kit arrived and I haven't even opened it because, well, I have opened it, but I haven't started yet because I've been so absorbed in my cushion making. But I definitely want to start this week as well. So Emily's got me into cross stitch, everybody. It's happened. And I was laughing with one of my friends because she's been doing a little cross stitch hoop that says, Jim, I thought you said gin. And she said, this has taken me 5 hours just to do this section. So when I saw your cross stitch kit that you ordered, she said I had to sit down because, oh my God, that would take me probably about 3 years. I was like, well, it may take me that long as well, depending on if I ever start it. But yeah, everyone's doing cross stitch now, even the non-crafters. That's all I've got to show you. I'm just so excited about my letters.
I'm excited about your letters too. They're really cute.
We'll show you as soon as I finish them. Hopefully next week, but if not before.
Well, speaking of cross stitch, I have some progress to show you. So last week I was editing our video and I was just like, oh my God, like, cause I have so many different projects and I was talking for so long and I ended up getting really embarrassed about how long I was talking. And then it also was a total pain in the butt to edit. And this week it sort of naturally happened that I just wanted to focus on one thing. It's also going to be way easier to edit the video. Not that that matters to you, the viewer, but anyway, so I basically all of that is to say I don't have very much to show, but I have a lot of progress on each thing. So, ta-da! Without further ado.
Good. I love this background fabric with it as well.
Thank you. It looks a little more blue but it's a little bluer on my screen and a little greener in real life. So it's a bit more of a minty aqua color, whereas I don't know what you see here, but it looks a little bit like steel.
Yeah, I think it looks blue, but I remember seeing it on your Instagram, so I know. I'm picturing the actual color while I'm looking at what looks like a sky blue.
Yeah, so this area looks kind of funny because like that's going to be another flower, but all this is a page finish over here. Got some to fill in over here, but
you've done so much.
Yeah, I just went to town on this and like it's really cheerful, and I think that I am so motivated to get this done and hung up because I can see it on my wall in my mind's eye. Like it's gonna look really good in my bathroom because the colors in there are already this color scheme, and I just really want to have something up. You know, like all of the projects that I've done, like the pandemic one is enormous, so it'll take a long time, and like the La Nuit Le Jour, like those are short projects, but framing them is going to be weird because they're kind of an awkward size, and I also kind of want the frames to like match each other. And so it like might be expensive. Like I can do it in the way I want to, but it might be expensive. But this will be really easy to just buy whatever frame, like a square frame, and frame it myself and then put it up in my bathroom. So
I really like the picture you took of it as well.
Thank you. Thank you. That was taken with my DSLR. It's like I have to like have motivation again to like get out my DSLR because my phone camera is just like old and not very good. But about this though, I am doing 3 strands over 2, which is not the most fun thing because it's really thick. But as I talked about last time, I really felt like it needed to be super saturated, the color, especially because I think it's because this is like a medium toned background fabric color. And like if it were lighter, I think that I could get away with 2 strands, which is my preference because it's just like less bulky, it glides through the fabric easier, and you can also use the loop start, which I highly recommend to make your life easier. The loop start is amazing. It changed my life. I like the look of a thicker coverage, so I'm happy about the way it looks. And it's not that bad to stitch. It's just I can't use the easy start. I have to like,
Yeah.
Do you know how you start? I mean, how like you've done it when you're a little kid, like you like leave a little tail, like you can't do a knot, so you leave a little tail and then you have to like make sure you catch that tail with the first couple of stitches.
Yeah, don't pull it out.
I get so annoyed with that because you do pull it out. Like it's so easy to pull it out, but the loop start, you just like fold 1 strand and a half and then you poke it through around the front, but not all the way through. And then you come back up and you just catch that loop.
Ooh.
So easy. So
that's a good tip before I start my kit.
Yes, I was thinking about that. So yeah, not possible with 3 strands, but I've learned my lesson about like medium to dark background fabric and medium to light floss.
This is so good.
Yeah. So aside from that, I have a pair of pants to show, which I would be wearing, except for I need like to adjust the fit on them. But I showed this pattern last week. It's the teeny TYYNI trousers from Named. So they look kind of boring, like,
really nice.
held up. But they look really cute on. It's a stretchy fabric and they go all the way up to my waist. So it fits like really well here. So they've got this really interesting side seam, because normally on pants, like your side seam is right there, but the side seam comes all the way around to the front. So it's like right here, and it like does this wraparound thing, which is really brilliant, I think, as far as construction goes, because that means like this can be a dart basically without looking like one, and this is kind of a dart without looking like one, because this is a lot more angled than many other pants patterns I've seen. But anyway, it's so also because of that curve thing, like this is where the pocket ends, and then this seam sort of goes like that. But there's like extra room in there on me, so it just looks like kind of a saddlebag situation. So I have to fix that before I can wear them and show, because of obvious reasons. But the thing is, the challenging part of that will be I might have to take out the pocket and like reposition that, because I'm concerned that it'll be like a point, at the end of the pocket, because that's where I would start to take out extra room in the seam.
They look really nice though. I like the fabric you've chosen.
Thank you. I'm happy about the fabric and everything. Last week I talked about how I didn't make a muslin, and like I think I was thinking about like I kind of wish I had made a muslin, but I kind of don't care because they don't fit perfectly. But I just like, it would have taken me months to get them to fit perfectly. Like I know myself, if I made a muslin, I would have wanted to make 3 muslins to get it to fit absolutely perfect, because that's what I did on my lander pants, and it took me months and months. And like, they fit perfectly for about 5 minutes, and then COVID happened and I gained weight. Like not a lot of weight, but enough so that those pants are not comfortable anymore. And it's like all of that trouble was not really worth it. So
At least you only have to do, well, I say at least you only, but I mean, it's still work, but at least you only have to do that small bit at the sides. I mean, everything else worked out
yeah.
perfectly.
Well, I did adjust the other areas. I did a lot of adjustments in the back. Like if you are a beginner sewist out there, like it's really, from my experience, it's really so much easier to cut a bigger size if you're between sizes. Many people, if they're between sizes, are smaller in the waist and larger in the hips. So it's just like so much easier to cut the larger size and then tailor it down in the waist area. So I did that already, but that's like a way easier adjustment to do, I think, than the side seam with, especially because just the pocket is involved. And it's like a really weird curved side seam. Like if it were a straight side seam, it would be more simple.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start with the curved side seam, but I feel as though I can kind of picture how it looks on, and I'm liking the look. Imagine it's really flattering.
Well, right. It would be if there was not all that
If you
extra
didn't have all the
space.
baggage. It will be.
Hopefully soon. And the last thing I wanted to say, I was thinking about yesterday about what to say about it on the video. And I was like, because I have all of these thoughts and feelings about like how I spend my time. That's a big issue for me. And like I love to do crafts and I could seriously spend all day every day doing crafts, and like a lot of the times I do, and it definitely interferes with my ability to make money and that kind of thing. And so yesterday, that guilt, it's just like that guilt comes up really automatically. And so yesterday that guilt was coming up when I was like, oh, I said, like, this is taking so much longer than I thought. Like I should be getting ready for the work week. And because that was the other thing that I wanted to do. But then I had a realization that like these pants will be basically for work. I'm not going to wear like slack type trousers at home, lounging around at home, or even working from home probably. And if I have 0 pairs of pants that I feel comfortable in, except for 1 pair of super old jeans that I don't even really like anymore, this is getting ready for work.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't really buy clothes. It's just because I happen to also enjoy making my clothes. Like, that's kind of not really the reason I do it. Like, I do it because I know what quality is now that I've had the professional experience. And like, I cannot just shop at the Gap or H&M. I mean, it's not that I don't do that for some stuff, and that's where I used to shop, but it's like,
you want the longevity.
yeah. And
the fit, being able to tailor it to you is going to give you that perfect finish.
Crucial. And I think that like, I thought about how, in as recently as the 50s, like lots of women made clothes for them and their families, and it wasn't as much of an option to go shopping. And in those cases, they didn't do it. I mean, sometimes they did it out of pleasure, but not always. And it was like, this was them like showing up for life in a productive and responsible way. Like making clothes was like a thing that it was work. Like maybe it's not directly earning money, but it's kind of like, you have to.
I mean, clothes are kind of necessary to live life without being, arrested for public indecency.
Right, there's that. But you also like have to show up for life feeling good in order to,
perform,
get more money and like be a well-performing person in society. And like a lot of that is how you feel in your clothes, I think. And that really affects me, how I feel. So
I was gonna say I agree. Like when I'm I always feel so much more motivated. Like even when I used to work at home, like I'd have to get up and get dressed and stuff like properly and then be like,
Yeah.
let's do this. Whereas if I was wearing like, I mean, I love wearing comfy clothes, but if I wear super comfy clothes, then I'm more inclined to kind of sit around and be unproductive with my
Yeah.
time. Um,
My feeling that is that it's not necessarily about comfort, but it's like how those comfy clothes look, if they're shabby or not. Because when you're a person like me who is, not wanting to contribute to waste and like pollution with fast fashion, but you also like are not always super motivated to sew because it's takes a lot of strategy. It's a lot more physically active. And when you're sort of relaxing at home, you don't want to necessarily, I don't know, whatever your reasons for struggling with motivation for sewing, like, but if you have both of those things as a roadblock, like your clothes are just gonna be old and shabby looking all the time. So like something's got to give. And for me, it's more important to have the motivation blockade lifted. So in terms of making the clothes, but I do think that I have to compromise sometimes because the pace at which I'm able to make my clothes is not keeping up with the pace that I need new clothes because of literal like holes and like things falling apart and stuff like that.
yeah, I think they look amazing, and I can't wait
Thank
to
you.
see your long legs in them in a non-creepy way. That does sound a bit creepy.
That's all right.
Say, it kind of made me think of the new book that has just been released by Buku,
Yeah.
Visible Mending, which I was quite interested in getting. So I would like to have a go at darning a few things that have holes in, and most particularly a really nice mohair jumper I have that was absolutely perfectly fine until this little wretch, when he was a puppy, was going through teething and chewed a massive hole on the front of it. And
No.
I was so upset. So I want to learn how to darn and fix that with some really brightly coloured neon. Make it a feature.
Yeah.
And there's this person on Instagram, which is all kind of related, called Visible Creative Mending, and with underscores in between those. And she does some super cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she makes them. If you want to be subtle, she can do that, but she has tutorials on how to do different sort of plaid and kind of little patches stuff. So I feel like that would be quite cool. But yes, I'd also like Buku's new book, again, of how to be more sustainable and try and make things last rather than having to buy new things
Right.
all the time.
Yeah. Sashiko mending is really amazing and beautiful. And I love like my mom and I were talking about perfectionism because we both are like recovering perfectionists, and she was talking about wabi sabi and I brought up sashiko, which she had never heard of, which to me was a little bit like whoa, because it's so talked about in
Yeah.
our community, but the idea that like I think in both of those um, ideas or like schools of thought, it's the idea of like imperfections being more beautiful. And she was talking about how in wabi sabi, like if there's a crack in a piece of pottery, they like put gold paint on the cracked part, which I think would look really amazing. But related also to sashiko mending, I recently learned about sashiko quilting, which I don't know if you've ever seen any of that, but it's so beautiful. This woman came into the store with all of these avocado dyed pieces of fabric that were like sort of different shades of like a brownie pink. And so she bought a couple of different shades of pinkish sashiko thread, and it was just like rectangles, but because of all the shades and the hand stitching, it looked so cool. I think it's like, yeah, you should definitely check that out. It's
Now I'm
really
into quilting.
modern looking and seems fun. So
Cool. One thing, I do want to do some hand quilting because I'm waiting until our stuff arrives, because in there I have the Haptic Lab Brooklyn quilt.
oh, cool.
So I thought that'd be a really cool thing to do and mark out all the places that were kind of important. I would say to us, but really it's to me because I'm making a quilt. So it's kind of a quilt
Right.
for me. Sorry, Jake. Yeah, I thought that'd be cool to do some sort of hand and maybe do more kind of embroidery type stuff on it. I don't know, I haven't really thought about it, but I kind of have a bit of a play around.
Yeah, I think we sell those kits, and some of them are, I mean, all of them are like, there is some embroidery. I think there's a lot of embroidery. It's not just, I think you embroider it and then you quilt it. I don't think that it's embroidered and quilted at the same time. I could be wrong. I've never done one, but that's my understanding of it.
I confess I haven't opened the packet yet to find out what the situation is. So we'll all have to wait in anticipation until I unpack that.
Well, hopefully in the next month or so.
Yeah, well, hopefully at the beginning of December should be our delivery date for all our stuff. I'll be reunited with all of my things, well, all of our things. I say my things because it's mostly craft stuff. And I'm excited to get some different clothes. I feel like I'm wearing the same thing over and over again. I take stuff out my wardrobe, like, oh, I'm wearing this jumper again. What a change. Which is why I think I've been so eager to knit stuff, just to have a bit of variation in my life. But yeah, I haven't done anything on the socks. I've been very lax, and I need to do that because that's Christmas presents. And maybe some cushions would be Christmas presents. I guess I can't really do that. These are more like Christmas things. We'll see.
I have worked on my sock pattern. We mentioned it a little bit. I mentioned it a little bit last week, but I am working on a sock pattern. It's going to be called Kaepernick, after Colin Kaepernick. It was a pattern that I wrote last year, but then I had like a crisis of confidence / emotional breakdown, which I feel a lot better now. I still need to like finish the design of the pattern. The pattern itself is done, but I'm like working on the, visual aspects of it. And so I made an illustration, which actually I'm realizing I didn't show you.
No.
But so I'll show you after we're done so that it remains a surprise for our viewers, because I also don't have it easily accessible right now. But I'm excited about it. So stay tuned for future news on that. In the meantime, I was thinking that maybe we could take a break next week because it's the week of Thanksgiving and I might have to work an extra day also. So podcasting seems like a little too much.
Yeah, I feel like people need time to relax after turkey eating and, catching up on all our videos they may have missed.
Right, that's true. I feel actually like, so our videos come out in the beginning of the week or like on Wednesday, which is the day before Thanksgiving. So like everybody's going to be doing a lot of cooking anyway.
Turkey basting.
Yeah. Except for our UK viewers.
Yes, which is why I didn't even think about
Wednesday for.
But yeah, but I suppose we have an extra day after Christmas, don't we? We have Boxing Day, which is celebrated in the US.
Correct.
Which is the day after Christmas Day for us, which is like an extra day. So maybe that's kind of like our version of Thanksgiving. Well, it's not really, but kind of similar. We still eat those.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is such a complicated holiday here because of the implication of like how Indigenous people were treated during that time. And Tim and I were talking about it the other day because it's like our favorite holiday because we always host Thanksgiving here. And so it's like a really nice opportunity to just be with our friends and have a holiday on our own terms, because sometimes for both of us, like family holidays can be dramatic. So it's just really nice to not have, just to have our own thing. But also, like, I definitely don't want to celebrate like the genocide of indigenous people. So just putting that out there, that I'm like fully aware that that is a serious issue. Anyway, we're just gonna have a turkey. So, and be safe, you guys, like this Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You know.
Don't go mixing too closely.
I know it's really hard to maybe not see family this year, but you don't want to, you know, give your family coronavirus. So it'll be better for next year if you avoid a huge gathering this time. Anyway, that's enough of me lecturing people.
Shall we wrap it up for this week and then take a break? Next week we'll see everyone in, is that 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks time.
Until then, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Tap the bell twice to get notifications every time we post a video. And until next time, don't forget to take it
slow.
Oh,
I got distracted by my N.
I'm the one. I usually say keep it slow. I'm the one who usually messes up, and so
okay.
I think I've influenced.
Take it slow.
Don't forget to
take
it slow.
Don't eat too much.
Or eat a ton and just have stretchy pants.
I'm jealous. I'm thinking of all the puddings that you're gonna have. Oh, delicious. All potatoes.
Cranberry sauce. I make such good cranberry sauce.
Yeah, delicious.
All right. Bye-bye.